Welcome back to the Proper Property Podcast with me, Jonny Brown. And today I've got an absolutely amazing guest. I've got Tim Witt. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here, and we host our own podcast, so it's good to be on the other end of the mic, which is good.
I know. I feel like who's interviewing who?
I definitely you interview me. I'm not prepped for the hosting. That's for sure today.
Awesome. So, if you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do. We haven't got a lot of time, so do it briefly because I know you do a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us as much as you can about what you do.
Well, I do a lot of proper property, really, at the end of the day. So, yeah, but my background is I've worked in property and construction for about 20 years. I did a lot of, like, my original background was construction management and project management. So I managed lots and lots of different projects for decent sized building companies originally when I was living in Adelaide, Australia, which is where I'm from. Moved to the UK in 2014, continued working as a project manager, but on the consultancy side. So like on behalf of development companies and stuff like that. Did big sort of new build residential projects and things like that for developers. Again, I was just doing this as my day job. And then I was realizing that I was making lots of other developers quite wealthy from my projects. And I wanted to invest myself. I wanted to be a business owner. Mainly because I saw a lot of like financial challenges with like families, members having redundancies and other people having redundancies. And I just wanted to take that financial security into my own hands. So that's when I started investing myself when I realized that. So from about 2017 onwards in the UK, I was investing in property, I started off just doing like buy refurbish, refinance type deals, which was like small terraces, stuff like that. To build up some cash flow, and then I sort of ran out of money, didn't know what to do next. So I wanted to learn how to raise funds and do some bigger projects and get more cash flow, because although I enjoyed my job, I didn't like the lack of flexibility, freedom, and like traveling around the country and things like that. So I had a goal to like leave my day job at the end of 2021 by getting enough cash flow through property. And then when I did do that, I left. I realized, okay, I've got a bit of free time now, but I enjoy doing what I was doing. So me and my business partner, Phil, we created a business called Property Portfolio Building, basically where we do a turnkey service for other investors, where we find properties, we convert them, manage the whole build and design refurb process into like HMOs or blocks of flats. And then we've got a letting agency on the back end where we manage that. So that's my property background. Personally, I'm a dad, 2 young kids. I've got Isla that's 4 and Sebastian that's 2, and my wife Amy. So we met when I moved to the UK. I was only coming to the UK for a year or two, by the way. 11
Come find your way back.
11 years ago, so I'm still here now. But I do enjoy it, apart from the weather and stuff like that. Everything else is pretty good most of the time. And yeah, we just enjoy doing lots of things together as family and traveling and seeing new places and, you know, keeping the weekends busy and stuff like that with lots of nice kids activities like going to the Gruffalo's Playhouse and things like that, as you do with 2 young kids.
Yeah. And you think property is what's helped you get to what the freedom? Well, I know we're going on to financial freedom very, very quickly, but it's giving you that financial freedom, which has really bought you that time to spend with your family.
Yeah, definitely. So, it's given me the financial security, so I've got more choices. For one, because I'm from another country, I wanted some sort of freedom and flexibility to move, be between 2 countries, or have the freedom and or financial backing to be able to do that if I needed to, if, family members get sick or we wanted to go there for a month or something like that. So yeah, those are the things I couldn't do when I was, tied, specifically to a job. So yeah, definitely things like that that's helped. And then, as far as the security for my family, that's a very key thing for the future as well. And then obviously there's lots of knowledge that you learn that hopefully can get passed down to the family and stuff like that, or maybe some other people that they'll listen to more, so you can teach them maybe as they get older.
Yeah, nice. So I take it your biggest why is your family now. Obviously your kids, you say 5 and 2, 4 and 2?
4 and 2.
4 and 2. So back when you did actually start, that wasn't really a why that you were doing this.
Yeah.
What really motivated you?
So what really motivated me initially was financial security and like sort of getting a position I could retire in essence initially. So that was the real why. And then as you go through that process, you sort of realize that I think as you get closer to being able to maybe retire or getting into that position that you could retire or semi-retire, I suppose, you realize that you're sort of not that sort of person that wants to do that anyway. So then you sort of go through, well, I went through a bit of a process of like, what's the purpose going to be? And actually, because I enjoy doing like achieving financial freedom and getting to that position, that I'm like, and I've got the teams and the business that does that, why don't I just help other people do that as well? So the purpose sort of shifted over time to like, I want, that security, but I want to help other people achieve it as well. So that really became more of a recent purpose in the last, say, 3 or 4 years with what we do as a business and things like that. So, yeah.
I think goals do change, and it's admirable that that's the way that you've gone. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about how it is that you do help people, what it is that you're doing at the minute?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I was looking at, I was going through social media on the weekend actually, and flicking through photos on Instagram, and it was like one of our investors that invest in our projects there in the Caribbean, having a nice holiday there. Flick down again, and one of our clients for our turnkey service was in Australia for an extended period of time in Sydney. There was another client, I just scrolled down again, and they were in Thailand. So there's a bit of a correlation there. And then some other investors, they've booked trips to like India, and like another one's gone to like Vietnam and Cambodia soon and all this sort of stuff. I'm like, I'm just hearing about this. I'm like, right, there is a bit of a correlation here. So, our mission is really to help, other investors achieve and maintain financial freedom. So generally we do that with our property portfolio building product, which I touched on before, to help, initially build up fairly, high cash flowing properties. So, you might be able to get some cash flow from property that could replace your income or cover your living expenses or something like that. And then to maintain the financial freedom, we've got the lettings business, and it's set up in a way that's designed for investors and thinks like investors to help maintain that financial freedom. Because, obviously finding the property is the initial thing, managing the conversion works or the refurbishment works to get it to a good position is another thing, but that's like 12 months of the process. Most people want to keep properties for years, 5, 10, 20 years or whatever. So it needs to be looked after and managed well in that period as well. So we do that. We've also got our own podcast, which is the Financial Freedom Podcast, where we try to give as much education in the space on what we do, with lots of good information, honest discussions and those sort of things, and get some really, really good guests who are like either achieved their goals or they're on the way to achieving those goals, and all those sort of things to help anyone. So anyone can listen to that podcast, a bit like this one where we talk to proper property people. And we've also released a book as well, which is Financial Freedom, but talking about the buy, develop, rent, refinance evolution, which is the sort of the new world of the BRR, because BRR is it's difficult to make money these days, and there's higher regulation, all those sort of things. So we've got the book that helps with that. So I suppose a combination of those things, helps other people, which is good to see.
Yeah, the BRR. I think we was talking to a lot of people, and it's something that we are looking at doing ourselves more. The margins are getting tighter.
Yeah,
definitely. And if you are wanting to hold, I know you talk a lot about recently about renters' rights. I think recently you also touched on the rent caps that they're wanting to put into place.
Yeah,
and all these different obstacles that are just making it more and more difficult.
It just makes everything harder. It makes everything harder. But I think when I started investing in property in the UK, you could replace a kitchen and a bathroom, and do a lick of paint. You could make a bit of money because stamp duty costs were lower, and everything else, all the other costs for build were lower, and all those sort of things. And also, HMOs back in the day, you used to be able to put some locks on doors and maybe put some fire doors in,
Yeah.
and refurbish it, and you could turn it into a HMO. Whereas these days, because of building regulation requirements, licensing requirements, EPC requirements, planning requirements, it elevates, a house conversion to a HMO or a commercial property to a HMO into the development space, because there's a lot more involved. But I suppose the key thing is if you can do that well, and because of the works you're putting into it, then you can get some good returns at the back end as well.
So I know you touched on the book. The book came out just a couple of months ago, was it?
November, 2025, late November. So we had the book launch.
How's that gone?
It's good, yeah. We had a really good book launch night. It was really well supported. We've had good feedback from it.
Awesome.
Have you got a copy yet?
I am. I was hoping you'd bring one.
I've run out of them.
So have they sold out? Okay, still get them on Amazon.
I've got to keep ordering like the author copies, but
I'll get one on Amazon. I'll send it you to sign.
Yeah, sounds good. Next time we see each other, or we'll organise that. Yeah, I should have done that. So apologies about that. But,
no, it's fine.
Yeah, it's gone well. We've had some good feedback, some good reviews, and if anyone can get anything out of it that will help them in these sort of projects.
Yeah.
And because and I don't know, maybe a lot of listeners on this program might have read, say, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or like Property Magic by Simon Zucci or something like that. This book is, it's the next level to that, because it's, you've decided that you want to invest. You've decided you want to invest in property, but you don't know how to like really, do it full on and be able to manage these sort of projects and things like that. So it's got the systems and processes, from 50 projects we've done in the last few years to use it and to follow, basically, to do these sort of projects.
Yeah. I think a lot of books now are outdated as well. So for it to be a modern method of property investment, I think that's what's valuable to people. Yeah,
and obviously it's very relevant right now because of some of the challenges we've touched on, and what you might need to do to navigate that. And a lot of it comes down to working with the right people and having the right processes in place, for sure.
Yeah. We say that all the time. Property is a people business.
Absolutely,
it really is.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. A lot of people are very zoned in on thinking that it is bricks and mortar. It's way more than that. It's once you realise it's about your circle, your environment, the people around you, that's when you actually start to escalate and take.
Yeah, there's so much involved in it that you need to work with people with certain skill sets, different professionals and all those sort of things. And also, like, through collaboration, you can just do so much more. You can go so much further, I think.
Yeah.
With the right people, obviously. Yes. You don't want to team up with the wrong person.
Yeah.
So there's ways to go about it and building those relationships and understanding why you can work together well and things like that. But yeah, definitely, I'm a big advocate of the people aspect. And I wouldn't even say I'm a people person, but it's just understanding that that's what works in the space, for sure.
Yeah. There are a lot of snakes in this industry.
Yeah.
We all know them. We've all seen it. And it is very difficult. I think sometimes if you've ever been burnt by someone, to trust again.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people follow social media as such a massive influence nowadays.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people following the wrong people.
Yes.
As well. And it's very difficult to know who to trust.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. So there's the intentional snakes that are like, bad people, I suppose, or what we'd consider as bad people and what they're doing. There's the snakes who maybe don't realize they're doing bad, but they haven't learned, or they haven't had the real issues yet to realize what they're doing.
The experience.
Yeah, they haven't got the experience. So, they're not intentionally out to do bad, but, they're just not educated or experienced enough to do it. So there's a couple of those to look at. But I think, again, it comes down to people, because if you are looking to team up with someone, you want to just talk to people that know that person and what they're like, because so it's like any person is like, in networks, communities, and anything. If you can talk to other people are pretty honest when you talk to them about anyone, because people like a bit of a gossip or whatever.
Yeah,
I do it with professionals all the time. It's just talk to someone that's done that work with them, and they'll tell you the honest truth about how it's gone and everything like that.
Yeah. I think, like I said, touching on social media again, like it's good and it's bad, but I think one of the good things these days is you do get to see that much about someone on there that you can really understand. If you look close enough, you can understand what type of person they are.
Yes.
And I think, like I said, partnerships, it's very important to know that they're the right person for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money that they're offering. If they're not the right person for you, it's just not going to work. We've had it similarly where we've had people offer us like blank checks, basically, but they're not the type of people that we want to work with.
Yeah.
So you could offer me all the money in the world, but if you're not our type of people, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
We just end up butting heads, and you can kind of see that down the line. People, it is a people business, 100%. So, do you want to tell us maybe a couple of specific projects maybe that you're proud of? Anything that you've actually done where you kind of looked back and thought, look how far I've come from where I first started?
Yeah, absolutely. So, or maybe one that I'm really proud of that's literally just about to finish on site at the moment. So we've got a mill that we're converting in a place called Helmshaw, if you know where that is in northern Manchester. So it's 10 high-end flats, like some decent sized ones, 3 beds, 2 beds, and 1 bed flats. So yeah, it was big building, it had 2 stages of planning. It's had a decent amount of development works, obviously quite a lot of funding required for it and all those sort of things. So that's almost finished. So, as far as a property development or project that's going to stand in my portfolio and mine and Phil's portfolio, that one, I'm really proud of because it's everything, all the processes and teams and everything we built up over the years, it results in a good project like that.
Nice.
There's been some challenges as well, because there always are, and it's always good to talk about them. But it's just having the solutions for them and the right contingencies and plans for all those sort of things. So, yeah. Apart from that, I think, all the projects we've done for our clients, I'm proud of them because we do a lot of conversions to HMOs, 5 and 6 beds as permitted development, which some of those permitted development rights are getting taken away where we work at the moment. So we've done a lot of those sort of projects in larger HMOs, 7 to 12 beds as well. And we've got clients that live in the Middle East. We've got clients that live in Europe. They live in the south of England. Some that are local. But either way, it's every project they put in is help them get to some sort of financial freedom goal, which is I'm really proud of.
Nice. And if you could give, well, not say one word, but if there were some sort of a sentence where you could give some advice to anybody that is trying to raise finance for the first time, what would your best piece of advice be for that?
So if it's your first time, you're probably going to need a mindset shift in some sort of way, because I was the same. Probably everyone's the same, because we've been brought up in a schooling system that was designed for the Industrial Revolution for factory workers. It certainly didn't teach us how to, A, talk to people about money and raising finance, or B, giving the skill set to do it. So I think it's just understanding that it's okay to do it. If you're creating a project where you can make money and someone else can make money or return, that's what a win-win is.
Yes.
So don't think of it in a way that you're like, taking someone's money. Obviously, there are risks associated. So you need to be honest with people about their risks and things that can go wrong and protections and all those sort of things in a balanced way, because, nothing's guaranteed. I mean, you'll know that in the property space, nothing's ever guaranteed. There's risk, there's high risk, there's low risk, there's things that can go wrong, and there's backup plans and all those sort of things. But so understand those things and know that you have to be responsible with that money. You want to pay that person back no matter what. Make sure they get paid back before you get paid and all those sort of things. But don't be too fearful of these conversations, because you're helping someone, get a return or like a profit or whatever. Just don't be so worried about it.
I think that is the problem, I think, with a lot of people, ourselves included before. I think you feel like you're kind of begging someone to help you.
Yes.
When in the actual fact is you're helping them to make their money work for them. That's the point. And I think, like you say about mindset shift, that is the mindset shift.
Yeah.
It's you're looking for people who have got these disposable funds that just aren't working for them. And you, again, like you said, with these investors that you've had where you're looking on Instagram and, oh, look, they're on holiday, they're here. You've helped them do that by them investing within you and giving them a return. That's what they get. And like I said, win-win.
Yeah, 100%. And don't forget, a lot of the people you talk to, they've been brought up in like the schooling system as well. And they might have this lump of money and they literally don't know what to do with it. They're like, right, I'm just spending it. It's going down. You know, I don't know anything about stocks. I don't really know how to do property or whatever. And they're potentially thinking that day in, day out. So as soon as you approach them and say like, oh, I'm doing these property projects and, you know, this is what it is. This is the end product. This is who the tenant is. This is the sort of figures, whatever. You know, you're potentially solving a really big anxiety problem for someone.
I actually say that all the time. When people ask what we do, I say we're problem solvers.
Yeah.
That is the thing. Every day there's something.
Yeah.
Not everything goes right. You've got to solve problems day in, day out.
Yeah.
And you're helping people along the way.
I think that's the key thing, isn't it? Because if you want to get into property and even small scale property development, there are challenges, the things that go wrong, and you have to solve so many problems that if you can't do that or you're not willing to do that, it might not be the thing for you.
Yeah.
You might be safer I don't know if it's safer, but you know, staying in your current role, you're doing something like that. But if you can get over that and you know that you can problem solve and you can persist with things and you know, all those sort of things, then it is a good space for you to get involved in, definitely.
And like you have got a lot going on. I know you've said you have got good people behind you. Do you think systemization is important as well?
100%. So, you know, my biggest issues when I was building a portfolio is I didn't have it. Well, I kind of had systems, but nowhere near as good as they are now. And I didn't want to let go of the things that I could be outsourcing to other people. So A, you want good people to work with that we talked about, or good team members. And B, if you produce good systems and process for them to follow, you can really do a lot and achieve quite a bit that you wouldn't be able to do on your own otherwise and things like that. So yeah. You know, it's, if you took like our HMO projects, you know, the systemization of the tender pack, the clear scope of works, the finish the specifications, the detailed designs for building regs, and then the contract conditions and all those sort of things. It's all very, very clear and systemized, which means you can do quite a lot of them. You can roll it out and you set it up for success.
Yeah. Like pre-planning, like planning before you do anything.
Yeah.
This is the way that it works. This is the road that we cross. This is how we get to where we want to be.
Yeah.
And it's, I think as well on your scale, once you've done it a few times, it's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, exactly. And if you know it works well,
yeah,
and you set the project up for success, that's the best you can do.
That's awesome. Yeah, we are massive believers in systemization.
Yeah, because there's like it's lots of things in property. It can be, people talk about passive income all the time. I don't think anything in property is fully passive, but by systemizing it and having the right people in place, you can bring it down to a relatively passive level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depending on the
but it's definitely not passive.
Yeah. Well, like if you got a HMO portfolio, and you're self-managing and you don't have systems, you know, you could be working 80 hours a week on like not a massive portfolio and still not be making that good money.
Yeah.
Or you can have a very good team, very good systems and processes, and only spend a few hours a week on it and it can run quite well.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the difference basically.
Yeah.
What would you prefer?
Yeah, exactly. I said this to quite a few people, and recently I've had this same conversation with portfolio landlords wanting to sell like 10 properties because it's just taking up all the time. They're doing everything themselves, all hands on. Obviously, they're getting a bit older now. That for us would literally be plug and play.
Yeah,
we could take them 10 properties on and plug it into how we work already, and it'd be very simple for us. And the people and the connections and the I hate saying power team, but the people that we've got, the contractors, all the things like that, it makes such a difference to the fact of we're prepared for it. We could take that on, and we won't be working as many hours as what this one guy is as a landlord.
Absolutely. And by having the systems and processes, you create efficiencies. And with efficiencies, you reduce cost as well.
Yeah.
So a very simple thing, like we talked about with our build projects, but having that systemized and having really good contractors we work with regularly, the pricing's more efficient, like lower and more efficient, and they still make more money than working for other people or doing different types of projects. So it doesn't even mean that you're paying more money by having that team in place. Like a lot of the time you should be saving money and saving your time and everything like that. It's just a no-brainer, really.
Yeah. Time, that is what it's all about. I think the be all and end all of it is saving time. And like you say, I know we've talked before about it, like your £10 jobs.
Yeah.
We call them £10 jobs. So we outsource quite a lot of things where we say, like, that's a £10 job. We don't want to be doing that. Why are we? It doesn't really cost us £10.
Yeah.
But we call them £10 jobs because it's just the little things.
With inflation, maybe they're 30, 40 pounds.
We might be a bit further up now. But we call them £10 jobs. It's like we outsource that now. We don't want to be doing that now. We need someone to come in so that buys us our time back, so we can concentrate on other things that then brings in the money, the spare time that we can spend with his family. Yeah. So next question, I've got a question for you. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Well, very good question. So I've had lots of good advice, but I think the mindset shift of understanding the difference between good debt and bad debt. Because again, I think growing up, you're thinking like, oh, all debt's bad. And, if I got a credit card, I need to pay it off straight away and all those sort of things. But, property portfolios and wealth is generally built from debt, which you could classify as good debt as long as it's giving you a return. So like bad debt as an example is like if you took a loan or you paid for a holiday with a credit card or like a car or something like that, that's kind of consumer debt. It's not giving you a return on that money. Whereas, raising some finance and buying a property which appreciates over time and gives you cash flow and stuff like that, you can consider that good debt. So it's just understanding that real difference between good and bad debt.
Yeah, I think that is a really good one. It is, like, I know you keep coming back to it. It is them things that are like installed in you as a child.
Yeah.
That really do play a massive part in your life growing up. And I think that is what stops a lot of people from becoming entrepreneurs, from setting up their own businesses, because the worry of it's kind of installed in you as a child. Get a job, get married, have kids.
Yeah, go to university.
Yeah.
Work that job.
And then die.
And then
that's it.
Retire and die a few years later or whatever.
Yeah. So it's installed like that. But like you say, I think a lot of those things are installed in a lot of people and kids. It's all government run.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's the government making sure that there's enough people leaving schools or leaving colleges and then going into the jobs that supply the work for the country to bring money into the country. Yeah,
and obviously, when it was designed, it was for, a certain economy and purpose and stuff like that. But it certainly hasn't kept up to date with the current world we live in and stuff like that, has it really? So
no.
Might change over the next few years, but we'll see.
Yeah. So what have we got to look forward to then? What do the next 5 years look like for you?
For me personally?
Yeah.
I think doing, more of what we're doing, and just enjoying it. Like, every year I want to design what I want to do for the year, what we want to do personally and professionally and stuff like that. And I just enjoy that process to it. I'm doing maybe less of my own projects of a smaller size and then a few more bigger ones and things like that. We actually support a school in Cambodia, which we basically fully pay for, like their basic cost per month and stuff like that. So that's been really good. So we want to look more at that sort of, the charity type space. So I need to think about that a bit more and whether we can expand that and add different arms to that or something like that. But
love that.
Yeah. But yeah, one of the things me and Phil always talk about, and Phil talks about it quite a lot, is like sort yourself out, and then you can help others. Because I think a lot of property people, they get a bit embarrassed about making money in property because we're like the greedy landlords or whatever. But there was a great quote from a guy called Bob Proctor, I think his name was. And he said, if you want to help the poor, don't be one of them.
Oh, yes. I like that.
Because we talked to quite a few investors, even, people we might, we talked about our business and stuff like that. And their initial thing is like, oh, I want to get in property, but I want to help, I want to have a care home that helps for like homeless people and all these sort of things. Really, really great. But it's a difficult niche to get into, especially as like the first thing you're going to do. So maybe, and they're probably working full time as well or something like that. So maybe the best way to look at it is to like, right, how can I get a cash flow so I don't have to work my job? And then once I've got that cash flow from property, then I can focus on, housing for homeless people or something like that, or some sort of charity and those sort of things. So
put your own life jacket on first.
Yeah. Put your life jacket on first, then you can put the jackets on for your wife and kids and whatever else and stuff like that, or the, oxygen mask isn't it, on a plane. So that's key. But it's just we've got a young family. We want to be able to travel and do adventures together and stuff like that. We've got to balance that with school holidays and things like that now.
Yeah.
But we've had to pivot the business a little bit because, like you said, there's challenges in property. Councils change policies with planning requirements and things like that. So, it's just assessing it on a year by year and plan out those sort of things. Maybe in the future we could be a bit more in the educational space. Obviously, we've got podcasts and a book, but maybe look at something in the educational space a bit more in the future. But at the moment, just enjoying what we're doing, building portfolios for people.
Yeah, which is incredible as well, the work you do. I think we first met at Sheffield Pin.
Yes.
Weren't it?
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, something like that.
And then I think we saw each other again at the Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit messy. We'll not get into that. So is there anything that you want to say? Is there anything that you want to say on the podcast, or are you good? Anything else?
I suppose if anyone wants to connect,
well, that's where I'll come into next.
Yeah.
So if anybody does want to get hold of you, do you want to, if you say it into that camera, your social media or the best?
Yes, on Facebook and LinkedIn, Timothy Witt, WITT. If you want to connect on that. We've got our podcast, the Financial Freedom Podcast, which if you want to,
we'll put a link
in for that. I'm trying to think. And we host the Manchester North Pin as well.
Sweet.
Which is the first Thursday of every month at the Village in Bury. So come along to that. And hope you got something out of this podcast and it can inspire anyone else to move forward.
Absolute pleasure. To be honest, I wanted you on the podcast to make sure that people can see who you are, because ever since I met you, I've been following your journey, and what you're doing is incredible. It's literally where we want to be.
Oh, thanks very much.
It's really inspiring. So I want to say thank you.
No, thanks very much for inviting me on, and it's good to hear about. There always is challenge along the way, so it's good to hopefully the listeners they can listen to this podcast and other podcasts to understand that it's never that straight line, it's never passive and all those sort of things. But if you're willing to
put the work
to learn and work, you can do really, really well. Yeah,
brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on, Tim.
Thanks very much.
All right.